What's up, folks? Welcome to this episode of what I'm playing today. Sonic Advance 3. I'll start off by saying my apologies. This is post-commentated because I had the wrong mic set. And oh my god, that's loud. Every time. I think I have the volume just right, and every time I don't. So this is finishing off the Sonic Advance trilogy that I had started way back when. It's not even that far ago, but it was long enough ago. Like, it's been like a month probably since I posted Sonic Adventure 2 or Sonic Advance 2. And it's funny because I did not finish Sonic Advance 2 because that game sucks. Sonic Advance is solid. I went back and rewatched the playthrough. I have a few harsh criticisms of it, but it's fine. It's just fine. It's decent. It's actually pretty good. It's not that bad. Sonic Advance, I don't like the boss fights. The boss fights are really the problem. The levels are a little weird too. I think it's cute how the Chow looks. Like, look at him looking at it. Look at him looking at it. Shout out, Kenny. But yeah, you have five. I just jump all around here, but you have 5 playable characters: Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, and Cream. But none of them are unlocked. The cool thing about this game is that you have combo pairs, so you're always playing as like pairs of characters. I kind of like how this mini screen is divided by the little like jagged lines that you'd see in the original games for the level select screens or the zone cards. But basically, the gimmick, I guess, of this game is that you have a pair of characters, and while normal gameplay is the same for the most part, if you use the R button, you have a team ability, I guess. There's one in the air and there's one on the ground, and basically you can use your teammate character to do some sort of move. So in like Tails' case, I think Sonic can leapfrog and kind of get really high into the air. And in the air, I want to say Tails will carry Sonic, kind of like the old games. Whereas if Tails was the main character and Sonic was the friend character, I think we get Sonic gives Tails a speed boost or something like that. Up here I'm showing off the moves. It's all the same controls. There's no instant shield for some reason. Also, I really don't like the ball animation. He looks really kind of like messy. I like how uniform his old ball used to be. Here he's just kind of like all, the tendrils are all whatchamacallit, flying all over the place. I just don't like it. But yeah, here's that super ability, that friend ability, and the other friend ability in the air, which I guess is fairly useful. Because these games are so similar, or decently similar to the classic games, I tend not to use those abilities that much. I like to play these games sort of as a purist would, if you will. Not that they're terrible abilities, I've played so much 2D Sonic in my life that I don't even really think about using the R button, like, ever, so I guess, yeah, those are Omo Chow, which I always assumed there was just like one Omo Chow, like one omniscient Chow. Is that what Omo Chow stands for? I don't know. Route 99. Interestingly, this game starts with a city level, which is usually the second staple of or the staple like second kind of level for Sonic games. So that's kind of neat. It's a little different, though. It's like not a ruined city. It's a nice city floating on the water. I guess it's Manhattan or some other aquatic city. It's Kukulkan. It's that place from not Kukulkan. It's Namor Land, whatever that's called from Black Panther. That was a good movie. Yeah, interesting city choice. It's kind of bland. It sort of reminds me of like the Sonic X, like it's that style of city, or like almost like a Mega Man Battle Network city, where it's just like everything's super pristine and everybody's in like a giant skyscraper. It's just, I don't know, it's an interesting enough looking city, I guess, but it's like you train us to want the green grass levels to start, and I'm like, I kind of miss it here. But here's that friend ability coming in handy. I want to say we do the first 2 zones in this part. I also need to keep an eye on the time because I don't actually know when this episode is over. I do think it's kind of interesting though they changed his animations between games, because these are Game Boy Advance games and not, like high budget console titles. I'm kind of surprised they bothered to change any animations in the game. But I will say one thing I've always noticed is that like I definitely prefer classic Tales. I don't know why. So this thing, I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. This thing responds to physics almost the same way that or in a realistic way, which I think is kind of strange. That little teeter-totter thing, that was really annoying. Like, I don't know why I couldn't get off of it. But I don't like Tails' sprite in this game. He almost looks too lanky. I like classic Tails because he's so short and adorable. And like he's clearly younger. Well, it's weird because in Sonic Generations, Classic Sonic and Classic Tails look to be about the same age. Whereas like Classic Tails is definitely younger than modern Sonic. I don't know, I just don't like how lanky Tails is here. Like his legs are just too long, it's a little weird. But that's Act 1. Each level, I should mention, I don't know if I said it, there are 10 Chow you can collect. I think that's how you get into special stages. I don't freaking know. Honestly, I don't even think I've ever beaten this game. I think the only game I've bothered to beat in this series is the first one. Because it's basically Sonic the Hedgehog 4 in terms of like level structure too. It's literally just 2 acts. 2 acts per zone. 6 zones. And like a final zone. And I respect that. I love the Chow sound. Like what? Like it's not like a cry of distress. It's literally like it's just like surprise. Like, oh, I didn't know that I was lost, but the fact that you found me means I'm no longer lost. Like it's just a little weird. Also, for some reason, they thought that mild puzzle elements like those timed springs that require button presses was a good idea. Again, I don't really understand Sonic Team or Dimps. Like, things that make Sonic go slow. Oh my god, I just realized. Wait. Never mind. So I went back to watch Sonic Advance 1, and I was like, I don't think those pull-up bars were in the classic games. And they're not. Those bars are in the game. It's just Sonic bounces on them on his feet. As opposed to bounce. Oh, yeah, Tails' AI is screwing me up here. But Sonic bounces on them on his feet as opposed to bouncing on his, like doing a pull-up. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't even know what I was saying anymore. So I do like the partner mechanic. Like, the fact that you can call your partner back is kind of nice because that's sort of like Knuckles Chaotix, you know? You can kind of call them back to the screen so you're not all screwy. I don't think the composition is all that good here, but I don't mind the song for the invincibility. I think the composition in this like musical style is a little bit wonky. But yeah, it's fine. Yep, that's cool. Just jump into the spikes, buddy. Jump into the spikes. Also, I don't know if Tails can break stuff with his tails because... So the whole thing is, in like the original games, like the classic games, it used to be... I have no idea where I'm going either. Oh yeah, this is a really weird level design. Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to know to go up that way, but whatever. Yeah, in the classic games, Tails' tail spins so fast that it makes sense why they would be able to kill enemies, because they're literally like razor sharp at that speed. In this game, they're just kind of fluttering. They're not really... See, poor enemy placement. I'm sorry. So that was one thing I remember talking about when I recorded this the first time. The enemy placement is shite. Like, it's absolute trash. Like I've always said it. But if you're going to have a speed-based platformer, and especially on the Game Boy Advance, where you don't have nearly as much screen real estate as like a TV screen to be able to plan and time your jumps, you can't just have random ass enemies in the way, because I'm just gonna hit them. And yeah, Sonic has always been about getting progressively better at like learning the levels, but it's never been the type of game where you had to memorize it to go fast. It's once you got comfortable enough with the controls and reading enemy placements, you could go fast. Whereas this game, it's like if I go off a spring, I have to know to like hold whichever direction is going to make me go farther just to be able to avoid that enemy, as opposed to being able to see the enemy and reacting to not hitting him. I don't know, it just seems a little weird to me. I'll be perfectly honest though, the only reason why I've really been playing this game, like, yeah, I'm doing the trilogy, so I may as well just, you know, do the trilogy, but the real reason why I'm playing this is because I want to play the second zone, which has an interesting composition, shall we say. This is good. Shh, just listen. Like, I really like the fact that they brought back the idea of having like the same composition but remixed for the levels. Like, it's nice that they will remix things, because that's what classics, well, Sonic 3 and Sonic & Knuckles did. And anytime you can bite those games, I mean, I feel like you're going in the right direction for the most part. I mean, that's the game that also introduced the after image, I want to say, Super Hypersonic. Hypersonic had the after image. I don't think there was an after image you could have in Sonic CD with the Super Prequel. Definitely not in Sonic 1 or 2, but Sonic 3, I think so. Or Sonic & Knuckles. Well, Sonic 3 and Knuckles with this Hypersonic. He had an after image. There's something else I was going to say. Oh, Sonic, I almost feel like his momentum in this series gets progressively worse. Like, I'd have to actually test the games out kind of side by side. But for some reason, I mean, it seems like Sonic doesn't mind. Like, it's almost like he prefers being at a standstill a lot of times. Whereas, usually Sonic doesn't take much to start running. And, like, when you get up to a good pace, you're just kind of flowing and it's fine. This game, it seems like he comes to a stop really quickly, really easily, and it's really frustrating because it's Sonic. He should have a proclivity, an inclination, if you will, to go fast. Also, I kind of want to rewind there. I feel like I didn't pass. I feel like these shuttle loops work differently, because like in the old games, I'm pretty sure you had to pass a certain point on the shuttle loop for you to transition into the background. Whereas in this game, it's like that point seems to be closer to the start of the shuttle loop, which is weird. I mean, because I guess you could just like fall off the shuttle loop and skip it. I don't know. It just seems a little strange. Like, I don't want to say the classic games were a physics masterpiece, but I feel like the classic games were a physics masterpiece. Like, everything they do was just like perfect. There wasn't really an instance where I was like, oh man, the way Sonic moves here doesn't make sense. We're on to the boss though. I didn't even mention this game has hub stages. I don't know, just looking at the stars there, it kind of reminded me of like a Kirby game, which I think at some point I need to play a Kirby game. I started Kirby in the whatever the first Switch Kirby game was. I started that. Now that I have a 2DS, I could actually do any of the 3DS Kirby games, like Kirby Planet Robobot. Also, I should mention, this robot is Emerald, who is in Sonic Advance Battle for the Game Boy Advance. I have that game. Maybe I'll play it at some point. But Emerald, it was like this weird action RPG. It was like this isometric action fighting game that also had mild role-playing elements. Yeah, Tails screws me up again. Had mild role-playing elements where you could also, I don't know why Emerald is in the little thing. Like, I don't know why he's in the freaking cannon. Like, I don't think he ever shoots him at me. It's just weird. But you could like level up Emerald and give him different fighting moves, teach him different fighting styles, and that was like your kind of role-playing aspect to the game. I remember playing a lot of it. It kind of reminded me of like a DBZ game at the time. Also, I love the fact that all these humanoid enemies have the same freaking pattern as Mecha Sonic from Sonic 2. Like, I just think that's so funny that that game is freaking came out in '92, and like every time they do a side-scrolling enemy, it's like they use the same boss pattern. But yeah, Sonic Battle, I remember liking it a lot as a kid. So this is one of those bosses that I think is a little weird because the way that he reacts to you is so he doesn't land. His hammer doesn't land in the same spot every time. It reacts to where you position Sonic. So, but the thing is, I don't know when he like basically marks Sonic to smash him. So he very well could smash him late and like give you a smaller window of time to escape. It's not very clear. So that's why I died here twice. Whereas I feel like if this was, Sonic 2, they gave you the little homing marker and the beeps of the like actual game sound indicated when Robotnik was going to come down and you could react to it. And again, that's a really simple thing, but like sound design and giving players clues to what's happening is huge in Sonic games. Because if you don't, you're just flying by the seat of your pants. Also, I forgot there's no insta shield, which is why I got hit there. I do think it's nice, like Emerald. I guess that's what his name is. I don't know if that's I don't think that's the same robot as Emerald. I never beat Sonic Battle, so I couldn't tell you for sure. Now that I'm thinking about this, I wouldn't be surprised if you're supposed to like use your team attack or something. I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know how that would help though, because you can't, like, the jump attack doesn't put you in a ball state. It puts you in a vulnerable kind of free fall state. So I don't know. Look at that graphics budget. All the onion rings are flying out of them. That's crazy. And look at that. They definitely like took up half the freaking game space with these voice clips. And then they run on the Rainbow Road for some reason. I do think it's interesting how like Green Hill Zone introduced the checkerboard pattern, and that just automatically became a Sonic staple. It's like, well, if it's Sonic, it's checkerboard. Also like the fact they use the same... Oh, just listen. Like, I know, Green Hill's a classic, but I dig remixes of it too. And I think that's why it's a classic, because it's the same song, and we've heard it millions of times, and each time is better than the last. Like, I'll never tire of this song, and that's crazy. Something I should mention is that Tails has a new looking up sprite. He whips out the binoculars, which like plays into Tails being a techie kind of character, which I think is kind of nice. Also, I don't know if I mentioned, you can go into levels in any order you want, which is kind of nice. It's open world Sonic. Oh, what? This is open world Sonic. This is open world Sonic before open world Sonic. God, the Game Boy Advance really was my jam as a kid. Like, having this quality of graphics, granted, it didn't always look like this because on like the actual Game Boy Advance, the screen was super dim, and like the SP was fine. I remember they had like a different Game Boy Advance SP that had like a better backlight, I want to say, like a higher resolution screen. I don't remember, but I feel like there was a different SP that was better than just like the regular SPs that I have. Oh god, I'll look into that. Also, I love how he just transports to like freaking donut plains. Like that's a Super Mario World background. Like, come on, dude. That's like Choco Mountain in the freaking background. And I love how chill this remix is. Because it's the hub world. It's like, we don't have to go that hard. It's the freaking hub world. I don't know why I felt the need to go into these levels in order. But alright, let's get in there. Shh, just listen, just listen. Oh wait, I thought Tails had binoculars. I thought I saw his binoculars. Yo, this music's so good though. Like the bass and the percussion in the background has a like UK jungle sound to it. That's just beautiful. I love it. I love it. Also, as you know, I've said this numerous times on the channel, I'm a sucker for what? I'm a sucker for changes in time. Give me any level in any video game at any time of day. You want to make me a happy gamer? Give me that same level, different time of day. Alright? That's half the reason I'm playing Overwatch, because Overwatch, they're doing it with some of the stages where you can play them in like 1 of 2 times of day. It's crazy. Like, I think for the next update, which I'll have to make an Overwatch video because we're getting a new character next season. For the next update, it's like Nepal and one of the other maps. You can play at day and you can play at night. And I'm like, that's oh my god. That's all I've ever asked for. Like, I absolutely love seeing the time changes. I think it goes back to like playing Pokemon Gold, Silver, Crystal in particular, and seeing how the time of day changed, and then playing Pokemon Diamond, Pearl, Platinum, in which not only did the time of day change, and not only did they have more times of day, so it was like, well, granted, they had the same amount of times of day, but like visual representations of the times of day. So you had morning, day, noon, evening, night, I think it was. And there were more subtle shifts in like the color gradient. So it was like you'd have this like pastel yellow for morning, and then it would be like a brighter yellow for noon or whatever. Not only did they have that, but you also had the soundtrack that would change. I'm pretty sure it changed. I'll have to go over and play those games. I'm pretty sure it changed though at the time, different times of day. Which, you know, that's why like not Sword and Shield, but this new game, it's a little disappointing because the time of the day cycle is only 72 minutes long, which I guess makes sense because I think there are more Pokemon in this world than like any other Pokemon world. Like I'm surprised. I've caught like 100 and some odd Pokemon. I've seen like 300 some, and I'm like, that's a lot of Pokemon to see in like a main game. Usually you don't have more than like 200 or so that you find. I feel like it's never like I'm not even done with the game and I've already seen like 350 or something. Like, I get it, there's like 1,008 Pokemon now, but that just seems like a lot of Pokemon to see. So I get it, because there's so many Pokemon, they probably didn't want to have a long, like a realistic day clock, because then if you're looking for a Pokemon that only comes out in the daytime, well, you have to wait until you can play the game at that time to find it, as opposed to just being like, oh, I'll just literally wait, 30 minutes, because I think morning is 6 minutes, day is 30, evening is 6 minutes, and night is 30. And that also sucks because it means you only get like the sunsetty evening sky for 6 minutes. I wish they would have a real-time clock. But, that's just me. I find it hard to keep track of all the Pokemon in the game because there are so many times of day. Like or not so many times a day, there are so many Pokemon in the game. And also, I guess, because the day clock goes so fast, it's not like, oh, I know that Rattata only comes out at night, and I can kind of mentally log that he comes out in this area. It's like, well, he might come out at night, but then night's over in like 30 minutes, so he might be on the daytime, and there's just hella areas. This isn't a Pokemon LP, this is a Sonic LP. I like the geometric shapes on these, the palm trees. Like, that's the one thing, that's what I was saying. It's interesting how, like, the checkerboard was introduced in Sonic, and then that's just become a mainstay of the game. And, like, it's informed the graphic design of, like, a lot of games. It's interesting. I mean, it's weird because it's, like, it's a generic pattern, but at the same time, it's visually iconic. I don't know, it's really fascinating to me. Also, I really like how the music starts at different points in the Green Hill Zone song, which is why I remember playing this as a kid and thinking, wait, I know this song. Where does this song come from? And admittedly, as a kid, I didn't play nearly as much Sonic 1 as I did of Sonic 2. But it always threw me off because I'm like, that's a song I know, but because then it started the same place, I'm like, that sounds a little weird. But you know, I level-wise, I don't really care much for this level. Like, I think that's the thing overall with Sonic games over the last few years, is that the level set pieces and the level design that was so beloved, like, as a child in certain games like Sonic Adventure, is not nearly as prevalent. And the only times it is prevalent is when it's a blatant copy and paste. Like in Sonic Frontiers, some of those challenge stages, those memory stages or whatever they're called, they, not entire levels, but sections of them are one-to-one copies of Sonic generations. Like it's like the devs had Sonic Maker instead of Mario Maker. They had like Sonic Maker, and they just took set pieces and dropped them into the game. And it's like, when you've played Generations as much as I have, and as much as a lot of fans have, it's super noticeable. It didn't like kill my vibe or anything. It was still fun to play, but like, it was hella noticeable that some of those levels were the same pieces from that we've been playing for like damn near a decade or plus, I guess. But yeah, I'm not really a fan of the level design here. It's kind of boring. I think it feels like they tried to make Sonic appeal to fans of other platform games. I think that's something that gets on my nerves, is that like all the best games lean into what they do. Like 3D Mario is a collectathon. That's what he do. Like every 3D Mario game is a collectathon, and that's fine. I'm trying to think of another good example. Every Legend of Zelda game is like an explorational adventure game. Like there's not really a shift in style. Like it's a puzzle game, it's a action game, and that's what they do. I mean, I know Sonic seems like he's always had an identity crisis, and he's always trying to appeal to more than just like his core fans, which I think has helped his longevity in some regards, because everyone can have a favorite Sonic game, but at the same time, for the core fans, who I think are a bulk of the audience, it can be disheartening because you get used to playing Sonic, and then he comes out with something that really doesn't feel like one of his games. But that'll do it. Not for the episode. We fight Knuckles. I think there's a boss. Hey, it's Knuckles! What's going on here, Sonic? Maybe you can use my help. Ah, thanks, but no thanks. And once again, he runs away from his problems. What? Wait a second. Hey! You may select Knuckles now. If this was the old games, it would say, now, you may select Knuckles. Oh, we don't fight Knuckles. I don't know why I thought we fought him. That's weird. That's so annoying. Like, why is it a time spring? It has nothing to do with anything. Like, there's no reason to have a time spring. And you don't even need the spring. That's the thing. You don't even need it. Like, I can understand if you needed it. You don't need it. You don't freaking need it. Alright, let's fight this dumb boss. I love the Tails is still getting left out to this day. That's a bitchin' sunset, I ain't gonna lie. That's a really good sunset. Also, I like all the carved wood. Oh, this boss. I remember this boss. I played this a lot as a kid. It's weird. You can only hit him on like the soft, gooey part. And so you're just kind of like waiting for him to roll around. And there's a whole... It's a whole thing. Again, I don't know what their affinity is for button presses. It's just a little strange, but, you know, is what it is. I will say the boss design isn't like the best. I don't know. I just feel like Robotnik seems like he ran out of ideas here. Like, he's just rolling around a little mech. Like, he can't crush me. He's just kind of rolling, getting seasick. I don't know. It's weird. Also, his little Robotnik car. What's it called? Hovercraft. It's different. It's not the same one from like the modern or the classic games, like the current games or the classic ones. It's kind of interesting. I think it's a different one. It's not like the round, the Eggmobile. It's not that. I don't think. They should really warn us before you get hit with this freaking color vomit. Alright, we're almost at the end of the video. I'm digging that drum line. Ocean Base Zone. And we have Oil Ocean / Sandopolis Zone gimmicks. Yeah. I don't know what I was talking about at this point, but we are almost done. We're like literally almost done. What happens if I go in here? Is that, oh, it's level select. Level select, that's cool. Yeah, I don't even know how this... Oh, it's character select. That's even cooler. I think I was considering whether or not to play as Knuckles. And I think I did consider. Oh, and I think I'm going to show off the team power. So, yeah. So, Knuckles usually can glide if he's playing with Tails as a backup character. With Sonic, he becomes like a speed-focused character, as you can tell by the upper left-hand corner, with the speed shoe. And so he gets like this weird dash attack that's really useless. And, Sonic will fling him for a speed boost, both on the ground and in mid-air, which is useless. But that's going to do it for this episode of Sonic Advance 3. Next time we're going to come back, probably play as Knuckles and Sonic, and see what lies in store for our spiny red protagonists. As always, thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Have a great day.